stage persona and just try different things, uh, like my performance at Ed's house last week. Well, we had done this fucking open mic the night before that kind of like was berserk, and I don't know. I'm experimenting with this like technique that I kind of consider like a kind of punk rock comedy. I haven't really seen this. Like one of my favorite comedians, Sam Kinison, his whole act is like this screaming thing where he goes, ah, and so I'm like, that's something that I just kind of naturally do on stage. I'm like always yelling. And so I'm like, okay, well, why not just embrace this and like try and take this to like some kind of like utmost level? And so like, but also like with my comedy and what I've been doing with System Lord, basically when I do my stand up a lot of times, it's like I'm doing System Lord without System Lord. It's just like I'll kind of be doing performance arty impressions or just kind of like I don't know, that's like the most interesting comedy sets I've done, I think, is when I just do kind of like a performative collage of just like weird characters and lines and thoughts. It's like when you try to do kind of pre-baked routines, that's the stuff that hasn't really worked quite as well for me. Like when I did comedy last Thursday, I did this whole bit I have about hot nurses. And how hot nurses IRL are different than hot nurses like in a porn film, for instance. And I don't know. It's just something we're experimenting with. So I'm experimenting with my new technique of punk rock comedy, where I sort of do, kind of like the cliche. I don't know. There's like punk rock, right? They invented it in the goddamn East Village. It feels like there should be some kind of fucking young people keeping that spirit alive, even though my one friend said punk is just like a regurgitated dada, and it's kind of this tired, it's no longer avant-garde, and I suppose that's true, but it's I never tried to be fucking punk rock or beat at all. It's just I'm poor and I'm desperate and I'm angry and I'm frustrated, and so like you put those things together, you add like beauty and poetry to it, like that's punk rock. A lot of the aesthetic of our generation is a lot more like graphic design, Photoshop. It's all digital kind of like finishing and digital kind of like processing and punk rock having an edge, having a kind of handmade DIY quality, having a kind of imperfect quality. These things are just more attainable for me. It's not even necessarily like, but it's also like wearing your working classness like a badge. I want that to be clear to people that like I've done this without institutional help or even money. Like I literally have no budget for anything. My pamphlets, the way that I do them, they're meant to be for poor people. They're not meant to cost money. They're meant to just be handed about freely amongst the populace democratically. They're like common sense or whatever. They're Thomas Paine. And like it's not really meant to, I'm not like needing to get like rich or anything. It's just in our society you're offered one of two options. You either get rich or die. And so, you better try to get rich, I guess. Unless you just want to work yourself to death. Like, I just want to get rich so I don't have to work on shit I don't want to work on. I just want to smoke weed and live stream and make vlogs and do my pamphlets and host events and do readings and go on tour. That's all I want. And hang out and travel. It'd be nice to, like, eat food that's not Chipotle. That's a goal for me. I'm manifesting that for 23. The New Year's coming up. March 1st is the new year, okay? Not January 1st. So we're heading into a new phase. World War III, perhaps. World War IX. Putin is, he, like, walked out of the nuke treaty or whatever, so things could get interesting right about now, as Bob says. Who the fuck knows? That's why I'm just living my peace warrior life, and I'm trying to bring the light. Okay, I'm trying to bring the light and the peace. Oh, I should do my Jim Rome impression. I'm an impressionist. That's like my my new thing. I'm an impressionist. I'll do my Jim Rome for everybody, but like I'm a bad impressionist. That's my act. It's like I'm not good at it, but like I try really hard. I lean into it. That's what makes it funny, I guess. That's what I don't know. I like anti-humor. I like H. John Benjamin. Okay, so sue me. It becomes funny if you have fun, if you lean into it. It's not about how good the impression is. It's just a character. It's not. I'm not doing Charles Grodin. I'm doing a character that's like Jim Rome. I'm Jim Rome. Don't let your kids play soccer. Soccer is for gay people. That's what Jim Rome said that was an impression I used to do in high school. Jim Rome was on Fox Sports. And he hated soccer. He was he was a bigot in that way. In a typical American, I suppose. Well, I don't know. There's a lot of Americans who like soccer and play soccer. I was a part of the soccer generation. Every kid in fucking elementary school played goddamn soccer. I didn't play soccer. I played baseball. Okay? I used my hands and a bat. But good for soccer, the soccer moms and whatnot. I don't know. Maybe that is something that's different about me and, puts me at odds with the millennials. I just don't vibe with them. I'm more into Gen Z. Millennials are too soft. They're too careful. They're judgy. They're I don't know. People expect things to be perfect, or I don't know. Who knows? I'm just trying to hit it big without having to get a job so I can get a place to live. I don't know how that's going to happen, if that's going to happen, why that's going to happen. I'm meeting all these people that are like cast in these shows. Like, somebody was talking about their friend got cast in the new Francis Ford Coppola film, Megalopolis. So I'm like, how am I not getting these auditions? Adam Driver just eats everything up. I mean, it's driving me insane. I could have played Speed Racer. Emile Hirsch is taking my jobs, okay? I could have gone into the wild. Instead of here, which is also a kind of wild, I'm back in Christopher Handless mode. Back in 2012, before I found my tiny room in Brooklyn, I was like, what am I going to do? Maybe I'll just go into the wild, like Christopher McCandless. Like I was reading that book, we watched the Sean Penn film. And that was a serious option. Just living in a car. Even now, I'm like, maybe I'll just buy a van. I'll just live in the van and be like a street performer. And, if I could host open mics like 4 nights a week, then I could probably make a living. I guess, part of the reason why I wanted to put myself in this situation is to give myself a deadline and to put a fire under my ass. I mean, I'm a procrastinator. Perhaps most of the great ones are. Perhaps you can relate to this, but I think we're a generation of procrastinators. I don't know why. Everybody's on Ritalin. Everybody's on speed. Everybody... I guess we're asked to like be lethargic and focus, and they want to kill our bodies, and they want to kill like our attachment to like our motor skills by like putting us in desks and like forcing us to do busy work for the first like 18 years of our lives. And they want to extinguish like our divine nude flame, but they didn't. And that's why we're at the open mic, because they didn't kill our souls. And we're out there and we're just like so fucking alive, like the POD song. Speaking of which, System Lord, Friday, come see System Lord at a secret location that I can't divulge. It's so hip, I can't even tell you what the fuck it is. But if you DM me, I can send you the deets. That's one thing I need to get better at on the open mic. plugging my own shit, plugging my public access show and my System Lord gigs. I neglected to mention it on Monday, but you know, System Lord, it really deserves an audience and for people to see it. So we're gonna go hard on Friday. I mean, I'm homeless. Like I was saying, it creates pressure. Being in this situation where you're sleeping and there's a snake and there's a sword and there's butane and flamethrowers. Maybe that's just how cool people live. Okay, you wanna live la vie boheme. You wanna live a scene kid kind of edge lord, outsider, punk rock, straight edge. I mean, not that necessarily, but you know, maybe some kind of get in the van, sleeping on the floor. It's not glamorous, okay? It's a war. It's a fucking war out here on the streets, okay? Reading people's tarot cards, hustling. I'm a warrior of the light, okay? I'm not exploitative. I just want people to listen to my monologues endlessly and read my poetry when I'm not reciting my monologues, and then watch my vlog when they're not. There's a lot to be obsessed with, America, okay? There's a lot of content here. You'll have decades worth of fun, okay? The archive is massive. I want my estate to handle my archive like Carson does. I want there to be a podcast, and I want there to be clips on YouTube. I want a channel on Roku, okay? I want there to be a fucking Scenes from a Life channel on Roku's everywhere. I want every Roku TV to have a fucking Scenes from a Life channel with just like 24/7, 365 vlogs. And when you're not showing the vlogs, show the live streams. And when you're not showing the live streams, show the live recordings of the open mic. And when you're not showing the open mic, show the System Lords, okay? The archive, I have all my, it's like the Grateful Dead, okay? We have 3,000 shows. It lives forever. Jerry lives, okay? Jerry lives. Jerry never dies. Jerry's still here. We got the ice cream. We got the tunes. We're listening to Jerry Garcia Band. When we're not listening to Jerry Garcia Band, we're listening to the Dead tapes. When we're not listening to that, we're listening to New Writers on the Purple Sage, okay? The archive is deep, and so there will be many, many years of fun for the people who want to become obsessed with the Scenes from a Life brand. That's what it's for. The fictional universe is here for you to just like devote your fandom to, okay? Buy the merch. Buy all of the merch. Collect it all, okay? This is going to be worth money. You need all of the action figures and the t-shirts. You need to buy all my DVDs. Collect all my pamphlets, right? How many of you have a complete set of Rotcore pamphlets? Yeah, not that many probably. I mean, you're slacking in your fandom, really. You're not getting the complete story. But yeah, so David Kirschenbaum had this beautiful recap that he had written, and he mentioned how he received my chapbook City Life, which I gave to him, and Ashley's chapbook Food. It inspired to get him his long arm stapler out, which I think he's been living with his parents, and he showed his parents, which I thought was kind of touching, you know, and cool. So if it inspires, you know, people and inspires David Kirschbaum, you know, the legendary figure behind Boog City. I mean, Jesus Christ, you want to talk about archive? Boog City is like, you know, essential, huge resource of the last 30 years in New York City avant-garde poetry. I mean, Boog City is where it's at, okay? You need to get there ASAP. If you don't know about Boog City, then, I mean, you're missing out. But I'm also hanging out with people that are like associates of Fama. So now I'm way out in like, you know, Rockaway or whatever the fuck. We got off on Rockaway Avenue. I'm like, that's not good. That's not a good sign. That's way out there. Um, but this is where all the cool energy is. That skating rink place is near here, so I'm trying to just do my little field trip and absorb and just have a good time. This is traveling. You know, this is like I might as well be in Berlin. It's Berlin vibes. It's giving Berlin. I'm learning all kind of new slang. It's giving Berlin. It's giving. What was the other one? Not me live streaming at noon on a Wednesday. Not me live streaming on Scenes from a Life. Not me using slang that I read on Twitter. It's giving millennial try hard. It's giving hello fellow kids. The Buscemi meme. I don't know. Is that a middle-aged geriatric meme? We're geriatric millennials, guys. Our generation was geriatric when we were 20. We had old people energy the whole fucking time. Millennials have strong old people energy. Not to make fun of old people. Old people have young people energy. They're all spry and full of vigor. Millennials are just a bunch of crybabies. Not me, man. I listened to, Black Dog Led Zeppelin this morning. I listened to Misty Mountain Hop and Livin' Lovin' Maid. My poem is about kicking ass and John Bonham drums. Down, 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 down. I wish some of these fucking comedy clubs would hire me to like revolutionize their businesses and actually get people in there. You want to make some money? Work with me. I'll get some fucking people in your bar having a great time and spending money. They're there. There's 8 million people in New York looking for something to do. The problem is they strangle all the fucking entertainers because the rent is so expensive. So people are not really growing like they need to. Comedians are just trying to get on TV as fast as they can. Or like blow up virally. They all do this fucking lame like podcast shit where they share it to like Instagram moments and they like put big subtitles. It's like, how about you learn to be an artist? Like The Bells, babe. Or Richard Lewis. These guys were like jazz musicians. They had like a certain panache. They had a certain style that like is severely lacking. Not that the comedians I'm meeting are great. I'm meeting a lot of great people. But I want to help them unleash the inner Lenny Bruce. If I could be the Lenny Bruce of for Gen Z. Like, you want to hear some actually funny shit? Like, listen to Red Fox. God damn, what have I got to do today? I've got to get my whole life together. I got to figure out where I'm going to put my stuff, where I'm going to move. How I'm going to move it. I got to get a job. Am I going to work tonight? I'm not even sure. Probably not, I guess. I'd like to. I'd like to make money. I'd like to go to the reading. I've been really bad about communicating. I've been so fucking busy and just like, I've been with people constantly. So I've had like not a whole lot of room to just like do my own thing. As much, I love getting to know everybody. I'm having a great time, but like, I'm also like, I don't know. I do need to like take care of business a little bit, I guess. I don't know. I'm getting pressure. And I have no money. I'm going to blow I just got a big check from the government. I should definitely say that on the internet. And so I shouldn't even be worrying about money because it's just a devil's illusion. Like life, the simulation, it's all just like, we're imagining it. And so, but I don't know. It feels like, Did they turn up the difficulty level? Are they, are the people toying with the controls and the calibration on the simulation? Are they making it all wacky again like they did in 2016? Is that what's going to happen in 23 and 24? It's going to get wacky? And Putin is just going to scare the shit out of everybody? And we need hope. We need light. We need passion. We need love. We need art. We need creativity. Right? By activating people, by getting them in touch with their creativity and with color, paint, texture, juice, the food they're eating. Wake up their taste buds, wake up their pineal glands, wake up their brains, wake up their minds. Break through the petrified forest, the crust, the ice crust that has coated the zombie people of this fucking country. Break in and let the light in. This is the dawning of the age of Aquarius. Let the sunshine in, okay? And let's get some fresh air in here. Read poetry. Read poetry. Listen to poetry. Listen to fucking rap music is poetry. Jesus Christ. That's the best poetry being created. Or like some of these lyrics. What is it? Mischief is my kink. Mayhem is my kink. Some of these lyrics are unreal. They're better than almost all the poetry out there. Some of these lyrics on some of these fucking... I don't even know what kind of music this is. It's like electronic dance music. It's all like trans artists. It's incredible. It's what did they call it? Hard. Here, I've got it written down. I'm a language sponge. I soak up language. That's what I do. Should I read my little poem? Yeah, I'll read it. Okay. This will be like a little recap of a recap. Okay. Russian hardstyle DJs. Do you listen to any Russian hardstyle DJs? Okay, so this is here, I'll start here. Billy canceled. I lost one of my scarves and almost my backpack. Even her food is a self-portrait. Tracking device on my keychain. Got stiffed on my gig. Culture shock. A blind man playing guitar helps with decision making. 221. Dark mode. I had to go to dark mode because the battery on my phone is, let me read. My battery's health is severely degraded. I need to seek a replacement immediately at an Apple store. My battery's health is severely... So that's another shit sandwich I had to eat this week. I'm having to eat a lot of cost this week, okay? Running the small business of myself and my poetry empire and my multimedia poetry empire, okay? Sometimes you have to eat the cost. That is the cost of doing business. That's the cost of being the boss, okay? It doesn't always go your way. You have to wade through the shit. And you keep on fighting. You keep on fighting. You keep on shouting. And you win. You win, artists. You go out there and you win. And you say, yes, we will have creativity. Yes, we will have good comedy and poetry. And avant-garde comedy. We will watch the Hannah Gadsby Nanette special. And we will learn from it. We need Hannah Gadsby at the open mic. And Todd Barry. I'm manifesting it. I'm staying with witches. I'm always surrounded by witches. Can they be trusted? I'm a wizard, so I think, they respect it. It's a mutual learning experience. I'm a vampire on their youth and their cultural savviness. I mean, Jesus Christ. Not to blow anybody up, but I won't name names, but one of the people I'm staying with was a child music blogger. was like writing, well, you know, like these Jedi, like Yoda, like children of like Gen Z, like Tabby Jefferson was like a fucking like prodigy of like blogging and like fashion and shit and like Wes Anderson soundtracks. She's basically like a Wes Anderson soundtrack. We're trying to be poets, god damn it. This is the playlist of my emotions being rhetoricized for you. Tabby, Jefferson, and Rookie magazine writers. They're all poets now. Then they've all transitioned. It's amazing. So, yeah. I probably would have been a child music blogger if the internet had been that advanced. The internet, you know, I was still playing with sticks or whatever. This was the 20th century. We were still playing with, like, wooden toys. I had hand-carved wooden toys that I made, like, out of a tree that I lived nearby. I don't even, do kids even know what trees are anymore? Are you aware of what grass is, children? Or is it all just like a fucking screen to you? My legions. I mean, no children watch my videos because I explicitly have to check a box that says it's not for kids. So that's why I'm not PewDiePie. I'd probably have a huge empire if children could watch my live streams. Kids, break into your parents' iPads and watch my fucking videos. I'm encouraging you, children. This is what you need to be doing. Get the notebooks now, okay? This is how you're going to save your life. This is what you're going to learn in school. You're not going to be watching TED Talks all day, okay? Get a notebook. Start writing pocket poetry in your fucking journal. Whatever. You're 9 years old. You're a music blogger. What the hell do I know? When I was 9 years old, I was eating dirt. Not really. I was like an advanced child. I had some mice that lived under my bed. That was pretty exciting. That's a story for another time. All right, I don't know if this thing's going to kick out again, but it seems to kick out every 30 minutes or so. But anyway, this is dark mode. We're in dark mode, everybody. No big deal. It's part of the ride. Ride the snake. It's nothing to be afraid of. It's just part of the ride. Ride the snake. Ride the snake. I mean, things are going great for me. I mean, Edmund Berrigan added me on fucking Instagram. What can I say? Couldn't get any better than that. He watched me read my poetry. They sandwiched me. He read before me and his band went after me. So he kind of had to. But he did watch it. I mean, that's a dream come true. He's probably my favorite contemporary poet, so I'm feeling, you know, I'm trying to focus on the positive and levitate, okay? We're like the Beatles in India, okay? You walk through the fire without blinking, like Alan Jackson, okay? You have faith. The poetry will protect you. Keep writing poetry. Write what you want your life to be. Think what you want your life to be and write it and say it. Go to stages in public. The more people you say it in front of it, the better. I'm going to do some shows outside this summer, and maybe now I'll have an audience because you know, people sort of have to listen to me once a week if they want to go on stage. And so I'll make announcements, but I'm going to do a show on the Brooklyn Bridge and I'll record it for my pay-per-view, my HBO special. The Matt Proctor HBO special. Comedy, 1 hour special. Jamming in New York. It's free jazz, goddammit. Are you listening to enough free jazz? Are you listening to enough free jazz? Are you listening to Cecil Taylor? Are you listening to System Lord? Did you listen to the most recent System Lord? Did you watch the video? Go back and watch it, okay? Go back and watch it. You need to see the System Lord podcast, and you need to get the news from, I'm the Walter Cronkite of the counterculture, of the post-counter, okay? I'm the Edward R. Murrow I'm the Brian Williams. Top story tonight. Yeah, he's like the Hillary of the news. He's the Hunter Biden. No wonder his daughter's famous. It's a big lib conspiracy, okay? Girls, it's all neoliberal Hillary. Hillary wrote Girls. Hillary is Lena Dunham, okay? Hillary is responsible for Brooklyn. Hillary wrote and directed Tiny Furniture, okay? And fuck AI, too, while we're on the subject. My poetry is natural intelligence. I'll never let the computers live my life. I'll never let them put the brain chip in me. This is my chip, right here. He gave us the wine to taste it, not the chip. Dark mode. I'm someplace that I've never been. It's giving Judith beheading Holofernes. Philoctetes was bitten by a snake. Valium housewife refilled her Adderall and is demonstrating the broadsword. Scarlett got called back for Megalopolis. She's playing Adam Driver's secretary. Here's a guy who thinks John Malkovich should have played Beetlejuice. Tiny chat, hipster runoff. Grimes is dating Chelsea Manning. Russian hardstyle DJs missed our $1,000 sales target last night, $40 short, so I didn't get paid at a time I really can't afford it. Kuzu Daddy has an extra bedroom and production studio. Kay's going on a non-binary tattoo tour of the West Coast. Need to move all my stuff by next Wednesday. Not looking forward to it. Getting high in the morning. That's what I did today. That's what I did yesterday. That's what I'll do tomorrow, God willing. Boog City. It was wonderful. So I'm just trying to focus on the successes. And it's giving Judith beheading Holofernes. Philoctetes was bitten by a snake. So Philip Marinovich mentioned that he did a play in the Red Room, actually. He was talking about in like 2002 or something. He did a play in the Red Room based on Philoctetes, I think. Or was he doing something on Philoctetes now? In any case, he had done a play in the Red Room in 2002. Was it a Boog City thing? I don't know. So it was like, you know, it was weird because then I went because I didn't know who Philoctetes was. I thought it was something with his foot. I couldn't remember exactly what the deal with Philoctetes was. So I Googled Philoctetes, I Wikipedia Philoctetes, and there's some story about he always bitten by a snake. It was like, oh, well, that's kind of interesting because I happen to be sharing a bedroom with a snake. You know, I've been pretty chill about it. I live and let live, you know, respect. But is there something like deep kind of in our survival that makes us like I feel like I was probably having an allergic reaction to the snake. Like the heat in there and the moisture in there is not great. But like, let's face it, there's a snake there. And like, hey, that's beautiful. I'm not sure what the story with snake dander or things is, but like, any kind of allergen, I do have a reaction to. It's not generally like a profound reaction or like necessarily even like a horrible reaction, but like most food allergens I can't have, and any kind of animal allergen I probably have, sort of, to some degree. And so, I don't know, I think I was probably having some kind of allergic reaction to the snake that was sleeping 3 feet away from me. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, it's an adventure. The Hanged Man. I pulled the Hanged Man. And the Hanged Man, like, implies a period where you're, like, sort of suspended and in danger. But there's an implication that the Hanged Man is kind of choosing to be in that situation. The Hanged Man's, it's almost like a Houdini-esque upside down in a straitjacket, but like sort of in control of the situation at all times anyway. And I guess that's a positive spin on the hanged man card, but I feel like the hanged man right now. But I'm also feeling like protected. Let's hope. I mean, as I was talking about earlier, I felt like probably overprotected by my parent, my dad in particular. He definitely like made us cautious about every situation, and like, you know, that's one reason why I never really did drugs or anything. And I still don't. I mean, I smoke weed, but like I didn't even start smoking weed till I was 30, just because we, you know, he would get paranoid that we were gonna like start huffing gasoline and shit. One time, you know, I remember him coming home like super worried, like thinking we were gonna start huffing gasoline and like being like, "You guys aren't doing this, are you?" It's like, but you know, like there are tweakers out there that do whippets and shit like that. You know, I'm not interested in that. None of that stuff sounds fun. Like, no offense, but like poppers, it just does not sound that appealing to me. It, you know, if that's your thing, I don't know. People like to get whacked on crazy shit. Like, weed is a way of distorting your brain, but it's not like depriving your brain of oxygen or something. Like, a lot of these drugs, it's like they're bad for you. I'm not trying to like hurt myself, and my body can't handle it. Like, I could not do Adderall. I couldn't do it. Like, I would rattle to pieces. I mean, you know, there's a reason why, I mean, rest in peace, Ted Berrigan. He died young. He did a lot of speed. And it was great. I'm sure it was great. You know, it was part of his genius and his whole thing. But I'm fine smoking shitloads of weed all the time. That's plenty for me. I'm cruising. I don't need anything more, baby. I'm just loving it. I'm loving life. As long as I can continue to smoke weed and just like live stream and write poetry and subject people to it in public, then, and film things and edit things and live in New York. And I mean, I'm loving all the people I've met, but like this is a whole other aspect. I mean, my live stream will probably cut off soon. I'm not sure if I'm going to do another one. I'd like to, but for some reason it's been cutting off every 30 something minutes. It usually goes longer than that, but I'm loving everyone I'm meeting, but it is a lot of big personalities and it's occupying a lot of time, and there's you know, there's jealousy, there's envy, there's you know, the reason why I was doing all these fucking parties and shit at my apartment, because it was coming to the end of the time. I needed to do it. So if I was weird about like inviting you or pressuring